I wanted a place for people to receive authentic guidance and practical ways to awaken. Thought-provoking, paradigm-shifting, and empowering. This is about expanding our human consciousness to create a wave of new possibilities. I'm Dr. Theresa Bullard, and this is Quantum Minds TV.
It goes beyond just the negative programming that we get day in and day out. We are the product of at least the third generation academically that has been taught that carbon-based life in general and human life specifically is flawed, that we are flawed as a species, and that among our flaws are the things, the attributes that we most cherish as a species. So we're taught that human emotion that clouds our logic, for example, is a flaw, or that the sentimentality that we give to our memories that give us attachment to different, that those are flaws. Or we're being taught that that our bodies are weak and vulnerable. And if you believe that, as many young people do today, because they've been given no other reason to think differently, if you believe that we are this flawed species, that makes us victims. And as victims, we need a savior. And what we're being taught is technology is our savior. And there is a very real movement to replace much of our biology with technology, to replace our biology with computer chips, with artificial intelligence, with sensors. And the reason I'm saying this now, it's not like in the future. This is actually happening. Some societies are embracing it quicker than others. And it's being touted as the next step in our evolution. In really slick, sexy marketing campaigns that even look good to me, and I know what's going on. I mean, they really know how to do this. But here's the thing: once we begin, and the science is very clear on this. There's an adage in biology called "use it or lose it," and this is true throughout the biological system. Once we begin to replace our natural biology with synthetic skin, synthetic organs, synthetic blood, chips in the brain, sensors in the skin, our natural biology begins to believe that it's no longer needed, and it begins to atrophy in one generation. And the next generation, that atrophy is passed on, and the body says, well, maybe we don't need this anymore. And this is how we lose our humanness. And we're on the verge, the crux of, or the cusp of this technology. In this generation, we're either going to give our humanness away to the technology, or we're going to look deeply and honestly at what it means to be human and the extraordinary potential that is yet untapped, and embrace that in our lives. And we have to make that decision now. I mean, the technology is on us right now. The DNA is a big part of this. When we begin replacing DNA with artificial components, there's a very, I need your permission. Can I go deep and philosophical here? Are you okay with that?
Oh, yeah, sure.
All right. So I'm going to use a word, divinity, and I'm going to use it through its true definition, which simply means the ability, the definition of divinity is the ability to transcend the perceived limitations of the human species. So it had nothing to do with religion or even spirituality, really. It's the ability to access the part of us that is greater than we have been led to believe. Those attributes have been given to gods in the past. That's why it's linked to religion.
Yeah.
So our divinity, we are more than our conscious mind. We're more than our subconscious mind. There's something called the superconscious that is timeless, all-knowing, all-seeing. This is where our intuition comes from, and our creativity. When we write music and we write books and we invent new things, this is where it comes from. We have access to our superconscious through the DNA, which functions as an antenna that tunes us to that field. When we replace our biology with artificial technology, we lose access to our divinity. And that is a very deep, it's profound, it's a big idea, and it is happening to one degree right now. And if we follow the policies are being written and the laws are being created to implement these to an even greater degree, because people are asking for it because they don't know who they are. So this is the whole thing. I think we owe it to ourselves. I'm not saying that technology is bad. I'm a scientist. I love technology. But we owe it to ourselves to know what it means to be human, to know the full extent of our humanness, and this includes the DNA that we're talking about, before we give ourselves away irreparably to the technology. And my sense is that once we do that, the technology becomes a tool that can serve us rather than something that enslaves us in a way that sounds like dystopian science. You know, that's where that comes from.
This conscious conversation was created, produced, and recorded by Dr. Theresa Bullard in collaboration with Gregg Braden, and edited by Verse Content and HH Films and Photo. The theme music was created by Tim Mountain of Even Load Productions. Quantum Minds TV is a product of the Quantum Learning Academy.